in a bit. Yes. Sorry, is this internet? Okay. Okay, thank you very much, sir, for joining us. Good afternoon, our audience, and welcome to this session of Punch Live interview with the legend himself, Femi Anikulapo Kuti. I am Ademola Olonilua. Good afternoon and welcome, and thank you for joining us. How have you been today?
Quite stressed. Very stressed, not quite, very stressed. There was a big protest in my area and I heard shooting, so I had to rush there to make sure the police didn't kill anybody.
What area is that, sir, and what exactly happened?
Alagbole Ajun. Apparently, they were protesting. They passed in front of my house, and in about 2 minutes, I just heard gunshots. Pow, 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 pow. I said, hey, this is going to escalate beyond anybody's control. So I quickly put on a t-shirt and rushed there and to tell the police that they better not kill anybody. So the police listened. The police said that before the protesters even got there, some people were throwing stones into the police station. So they had to defend themselves. When I met the protesters running back, so when they saw me, they all followed me back. So I had to tell them to wait, let me go and tell the police they should stop shooting. The worst thing that could happen right now is for loss of life.
Yes.
The police listened. So the police complaint was they were throwing stones. They said the police were shooting. So then they said that the police seized their vehicle, blah, blah, blah. So I got the police to release their vehicle. They said they arrested some people. I got the police to release. So the problem is, if it's a peaceful protest, they have to ensure it's peaceful. They should stop throwing stones and harassing people on the streets. So we had a very long conversation on this. Stop fighting, make sure it's peaceful. If you antagonize the police, then the police will have the right to defend themselves. So we drew a line that, because the crowd was quite much. If anybody, it's impossible for the organizers to have control over everybody. So if anybody just flips for whatever reason, then everybody gets into trouble. So we managed to calm everybody down that since it's a peaceful protest, let's ensure it's peaceful. So I told the police released all their vehicles and people that were arrested, and they had to stop throwing stones at the police. So the police said they can protest everywhere, but just for security reasons, they cannot guarantee, and nobody can guarantee. The crowd was quite huge. If anybody throws a stone, the problem there is nobody might throw a stone, right? Mm-hmm. And the police will say they did and shoot. And somebody might throw the stone and shoot. So in order to ensure that there is no contradiction anywhere or any, misunderstanding. Okay, don't pass in front of the police station. Protest everywhere, but not in front of police. So we know that nobody threw stones, and we know that the police too will not shoot. So everybody agreed on this. So the protest carried on.
But all over the world, sir, there are other ways that you can use to quell such situation instead of shooting live ammunition. Do you think the police should have just explored other methods to kind of curtail the situation instead of shooting live ammunition? Because already in Ogumosho, a young man had lost his life during
let me make myself clear. I'm totally against shooting or anything. I was in my house and I heard the gunshots. It's not too far from my house. That's why I ran there. Because when there's loss of life, the police will be held responsible. The police in that police station, the DPO, they will all be held responsible. So they had to understand that once loss of life once there is loss of life, it's not they threw stones or they did not throw stones. So don't shoot. That was my argument with the police. Don't shoot. And they were saying that they are throwing stones. They must defend themselves. You too. I don't know if I wasn't there when this thing started. So, okay, you just don't shoot. So the police stopped shooting. Now, I am totally against the police shooting. So, but if they were antagonistic towards the police, excuse me. My door was open. I had to close the door. If they were antagonistic towards the police and the police said they acted in self-defense, that's a different story. So I had to make sure that the crowd was huge. You never know. I mean, the police, I don't want to say either side was lying, but my own was that the police have no right to shoot and they must ensure they don't shoot. So since I'm there, the police did not shoot. They didn't shoot. And I managed to quell and make the police understand that as soon as, if you shoot anybody, the story changes.
Yes.
It will escalate and this police station will be held accountable for loss of life. So ensure. So the DPO made sure he warned all his boys, don't shoot there, and they backed off. Now, the people too must not throw stones. It's a peaceful protest. So stop hitting and attacking people on the streets or banging cars. It's a peaceful protest. You can go about your protest without banging innocent cars or causing trouble, right? So they too have to understand what they're protesting about. So it was a long conversation with them, telling them they have to maintain law and order themselves. Since I managed to talk to the police and the police have behaved themselves, they too have to behave. So the protest continued and they went round. And so what happened in Ogbomoso is unacceptable and the police have to be held accountable for it. How it escalated and they said to shoot at their own citizens is not acceptable. But what happened in Ajunwa? That's why I ran there quickly to let the police understand that if you just shoot and you kill anybody, the people of this country will not take that they threw stones at you. So don't shoot. So, and again, it was as Femi Anikulapo Kuti, it was very important for me to make sure that the crowd don't go haywire and start throwing stones at the police. They can protest and not throw stones at the police.
Yes, sir, because I just learned that someone also got shot during the protest at Surulere. That is why, I mean, we need you to voice out, to use your name to tell the police to desist from shooting the peaceful protesters.
It's not just, you don't let us, I see a lot of people say celebrities, blah, blah, blah. Okay, maybe celebrities have a little bit of, say, like when I got there, the police respected my presence, they stopped shooting. Yeah. The police calls are coming in because this place was very chaotic. The police, but it is every citizen's duty to ensure the protest is peaceful. It is everybody's duty to tell the police they have no right to shoot. It is the government's duty to make sure that authority is given immediately that they should desist, no matter what. They mustn't antagonize. Even their presence in a way is antagonistic. When the police come out with full gear and everything, you're antagonizing the protesters. So that can be seen because this country is our country. Why should you have a gun and you're allowed to shoot me? You see, so we have to look at it from all angles. So I'm totally, already what should have happened is the government should have told the police to back off, go into their barracks or whatever, and maintain a distance and do not antagonize or shoot the protesters. That law should have been given longest time. So when the police make their presence felt like that and are trigger happy and loss of life comes, then the topic changes and it's a different story. So instructions should have been given from the presidency, desist, do not shoot our citizens. Do not shoot your citizens. Do not shoot the citizens of this country. Plain and simple. That order should have been given at all levels, DPO, IG, whoever. And when that's why I quickly ran there, the police station, no, do not shoot. You see, because whatever you say they antagonize you, do not shoot. So when I had the gunshots were quite a lot. Pow, 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 they're going to kill these people. And when I on my way, everybody was running back. It was when they all saw me, they all followed me back to the police station. And the police were saying they were throwing stones at them. And nobody was getting. I said, so I had to say, okay, stop throwing stones, stop shooting. This protest can go on without, because the police was that they started to attack them first. I wasn't there, so I cannot tell you. Other people said that before the protesters even got to the police, where the police station is sited, some people are already throwing stones. Some people said throwing stones at the police station. It wasn't the protesters. How far that is true again, I don't know. I can only comment from when I was there and what I saw. So I had to quickly let the police understand immediately they must not shoot. And that's the kind of law the authorities must give the police, and somebody must be on ground to ensure the police does not shoot, because it's a peaceful protest. So
yeah.
when that law is given from their guards, and every policeman understands they mustn't shoot, then there will be no loss of life, because the protest is peaceful.
But already, sir, the president had already come out to say that Nigerians are free to protest peacefully. The IGP also had stated that Nigerians could protest peacefully, but there are some rogue policemen that are the ones shooting the protesters. What do you think can be done to make sure that this protest is peaceful and the police will desist from shooting?
If the police are not listening to their organ, that means there is no law and order, Abi. Then that means the government has lost grip of authority. If the presidency says don't shoot, the IG says don't shoot, and then there is a free trigger happy police, then that police must be arrested on the spot. As soon as he shoots, he must be arrested by his fellow policemen, immediately prosecuted. Let the whole world see that this police has been prosecuted. If he's going to be sentenced to death or what penalty is being placed on according to the law of the land, must be passed immediately, so people will see, and other policemen will see that action is being taken. You see, the law must act fast in a situation like this. So, but if the law doesn't act, that means, from what I'm saying, that the government has lost authority. You cannot tell me that, you see, I'll give it, if anything that goes wrong in the shrine, the head of the shrine is blamed for it. That is why we must ensure that there is discipline on our premises. And anybody found to be doing otherwise must be, so the whole audience, when our security misbehave, they must see us defending the integrity of the building. That is how government must work. That's how any business must work. You cannot let your workers, when there's a law and your workers are misbehaving, you say serve people politely and the person is being rude to your customers, then get rid of the person, sack the person, and the customers must know that action was taken immediately. So if the government cannot do that, that means there is no government.
Now, sir,
if the police don't listen to their bosses, then that means there is no police force.
Now, sir, the main bone of contention now is that the youths have come out to speak against police brutality. That is something your father sang about, spoke about. That's something you sang about, spoke about, and it's still happening since the time of your father. Looking at this movement now, how does it make you feel as a person, as an activist, as a Nigerian?
It doesn't make me feel good. Nobody wants problem, but we have to understand why. What is the structure? Who put the structure? The colonial murderers put the police institution in place. So these are colonial institutions. These are not our own institutions. And since independence, nobody has addressed the institution of the police force. This police force has always been there to oppress its citizens and defend corruption in government places, defend authority, defend tyrants. So that's what the police is there for. And the police has always been like that. Even before my father's time, my grandmother fought the police too. So, but that is the institution of what colonialism put in place. And since we have taken over from colonialism, nobody, because even the governments have been, they are still acting as puppets to the West or their colonial masters. They are still acting, behaving, oh yes, master-slave relationship with the West. Nobody has thought that, look, let's start to do things for our people, by our people, using our own integrity. The police force should have changed drastically to mean police of the people, police for the people, and everybody will not be talking about this now, but that police structure already, that institution already is a colonial institution there by the colonial masters to oppress its citizens. That the youths are waking up. Of course, I'm delighted. Enough is enough. And that this generation, I never thought it would be, I will see a generation as dynamic as this generation. But it has been long coming. So, of course, I'm delighted. But if there is going to be disturbance, nobody wants disturbance, where loss of life, because when there's loss of life, we are not going to bring that person back. But unfortunately, what the government is not handling the situation as the government of the people for the people, because the government should have had ears on the ground already to know that body, SARS, to even know that institution, the police force, is not acting for the benefit of the people of Nigeria. Because this cancer that has been in the police force did not just start yesterday. Like you said, from my father's time, they were tyrants then. They did this throughout the 70s. I witnessed this as a child. They did this throughout the 80s. They did it throughout the 90s. When we built the shrine, they were attacking us for a good 8 years. Between 2000 and 2008, I was always at the police station fighting the police. They came in, broke up the shrine. They did so many things. So it has always been like that. So, but that there's a generation that is now saying, we have had enough. Good. I'm totally in support of this generation, standing firm that we want Nigeria to be a better place. We want Nigeria to be the envy of the world. Nigeria can be the best country in this world. We have no other place to go to. It's why we must stand, defend our integrity as a people. So I'm totally in support of it. Now, but do I want to see violence in the streets and all that? No.
Now, the president has come out to say that he has disbanded the SARS, and that is actually the first step. And also, the IGP also came out.
He has come out personally. Excuse me, sorry.
Yes.
The president has come out and said that.
No, he hasn't addressed the people. There are clips on the social media. That. No, he hasn't come up. To even start with, are you surprised that you now?
He should come out now.
Exactly. Are you surprised he has not come out? What do you think about that? That is keeping silent all through this protest?
I am shocked. I am shocked that I am shocked that immediately this thing started. The presidency should have called an emergency meeting with all his security forces. The Senate should have called an emergency meeting. What are they doing that they cannot call an emergency meeting? That the youths are out on the streets demanding. And they should have had their people on the streets to say, what are their grievances? Oh, and they will have had their full, and they know that this is not exaggerated. This is a big problem with the youths of this country, that this police, SARS, not even just SARS, the police force generally, attack, molest, harass the young people of these children of this country. I was standing outside, outside, seeing a friend of, and they arrested a boy because they said, I asked them, why are you arresting this boy? They said, look at his hair. I said, what's wrong with his hair? They said, see him here. I said, is there a law that says there is a way we should dress, we should have haircut or whatever? And I told them I forced them to release him. But this is what they do in this area. This is what they do all over Nigeria. You are working with a laptop. Why should the police just come and say, open your phone? Where is it in the constitution that the police should just say, open your phone? Okay, some of us, they cannot do that to some of us, but we know they do it to majority of the populace of this country. And if I know, the government cannot tell me they don't know. And if they don't know, then they should send out an investigating force to tell them that this matter is true. And then an emergency meeting should have been put in place. And the Senate should have said, emergency meeting, we are disbanding SARS. So, presidency should have come out, we are banning SARS, not wait for the IG after a few days. Now there are people dying in Ogbomosho, Oshogbo. Is it Oshogbo? Ogbomosho? Ogbomosho. And now you are telling me Surulere.
Yes.
Why? It shows that this government is not concerned about the plight of its citizens. Because if it is, these are things that when something, you go back to business. When something is wrong with your business, you call an emergency meeting. Directors quickly meet. There's something wrong. We are losing customers, or the customers are complaining. You quickly call your directors or your management. Action is taken immediately. That is how to run a country. When there is a problem, quickly, no matter what you are doing, you call an emergency meeting. The Senate could have met. The Senate has still not met to discuss this matter. talking on social media is not meeting. Who cares what they are saying on social media? Who cares about their personal view? They should meet and let the whole world see they are passing a law to defend the rights and privilege of the people of this country. That they have not done. That the presidency has not done. The president should have come on TV, national TV, and said, I've heard what the police is doing. I'm disgusted with what the police force is doing. I hereby put executive order and I ban Sars. And as I'm getting up this TV network, I am putting everything in place to reform, address this police menace that is going on in this country. I want a police force of the people, for the people, to protect the people of this country. That is what the people want to hear. Anything short of that is not acceptable.
So now we know the problem is police brutality, especially in the case of Sars. The IGP has said he has disbanded Sars with immediate effect, sir. And in the clip I saw that the president was speaking, he said that is the first step that he's going to take. When you see that, do you see that as a countermeasure to what the youths are saying they should do? Do you see it as a measure at all? Because they said that even after disbanding Sars, that they are going to bring up another policing unit to actually fill that gap. So when you hear comments like this from the presidency, already you're smiling. What comes to your mind, sir?
You see, the people don't believe. How many times have they disbanded Sars? I believe 5 times from my knowledge. So nobody believes anything the presidency is going to say or the IG, because this has been going on for too long. So if it's not just about disbanding, they should have even come out with a statement that those boys that were killed in Ogbomosho, justice should be served. Have they said anything about that? No. You see, that's what I'm saying. Action must be, for the government to show that it's working for the people, the action must be swift. They must be acting like with an emergency right now. Wow, 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 wow. We have arrested the police that shot this boy. Prosecution immediately, all the past. Look, these killings, we're not talking of 1 killing or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. We're talking of so many, too many. Even me, I've lost count with the amount of young people or people passers by that stray bullet has hit, or the videos of, have you seen how the police brutality on the streets? They'll just drag you out of your car, beat you. The way the police are even dressed, you don't even know if they are police. The way they stop you at night, you don't even know if they are police. So you are even afraid, is this armed robbers or police? Then the stories you have of them taking people to the ATM to withdraw their money, these stories are not 1 or 2 or 3 that the presidency cannot tell me he has not heard. So it's not about coming on TV to say, I've disbanded, and we are going to take up another unit. What about the justice for all the people that have lost their lives? The presidency said nothing about that. You see, when you don't do, already there is a backlog, and you just want to come disband, and we are going to bring another unit. So automatically, people will think you are going to take those same people to now fill that gap. Because who is going to fill that gap? Of which police? This same police will go and fill that new gap. So the menace will still be there. The indiscipline will still be there. There needs to be a complete overhaul of the police force, complete training, reorientation. Probably the civil service, the civil people in the civil part of this country must take part in addressing or advising how the education. Look, the whole police force must go back to school. Oh yeah, police is your friend. Oh yeah, but all of you say police is your friend. Police must not shoot its citizens. Police must defend life. They must teach themselves. We will give them what we must now tell them how to behave. That when we see them on the streets, they are our friends. We will feel comfortable. The police are put on that street to oppress the citizens of this country. You can't lie. I cannot lie. They too know. That is why when they walk around the streets, they walk around with the police to scare away people. When you see the police by anybody say, everybody starts getting afraid. And the police has become arrogant over the years that now, in our days, when the police used to shoot, they had to account for the bullets. Now they don't account. You just see the police shoot indiscriminately. They don't even account for the bullets being shot. When you shoot, you go back to the police. You go back to your DPO, your station. I shot. Why did you shoot this bullet? You write a statement. You, the police officer, must write. They don't do that anymore. When you even go to the police station and you see how the police station is, you'll be disgusted in the police station. When you see how the police officers, they themselves live, is this the police station? Is this the police protecting, the police that can, when you see their surroundings, their environment, they themselves, it's appalling. The presidency, the government should be ashamed at where they're putting the police to live. When you see where they themselves live, when you see the kind of schools their children go to. So you see, this fight is not just for the people, it's even for them. The police force, everything. Look, this country needs complete overhaul. Education must change. The healthcare. I was telling the police, because we had a big argument, I said, look, even the presidency, it's Corona that let us know that the presidency know that the hospitals are not good. But have they even repaired, have put anything to repair the hospitals? When some of them started to die from Koro, then they said, and they could not leave this country. And let me tell you, the reason they opened the airport is for them to be able to get out of this country. Because Koro is Koro still not here? Koro is still here. The Koro they told us is still here, and they have opened the airport. Even those measures that, let's be frank, those measures that have been put in place does not guarantee that Koro is not going to come or has not even left here. People have died, we know, in this country of Koro. Yes. So you have opened the airport. For me, you only open the airport so your children can go to school and you can be doing what you are doing. Because the masses, those people on the street today, don't even know where international airport is. And they probably will never know where international airport is. So who is it? Who are you opening the airport for? So repair the hospitals. Give the citizens, all the boys I saw on the street. I was telling boys, look at all these boys. They don't have jobs. Where are the jobs for the youths? Well, look at these people, these youths that I'm seeing on the streets are frustrated. The government has, over the years, provided nothing for the people of this country. So the problems we are facing are grave. And when the presidency or the Senate want to address it, they address it so casually. And yes, we are going to disband Sars. Is that what these people that we are seeing that are completely fed up and don't want to leave? They don't want to be like their parents, who during my father's time, or even my time, because you see, I'm nearly 60 now. I'm 58. So I've been doing this for 4 decades myself, talking about this problem. So they probably don't want to even get to my age. And I'm already, me too, I'm already getting fed up and tired. By the time I walked from my house, I was tired. You called me for this interview. You are telling me, please, since you have already made the advertisement of it, don't let it be like I'm not going to talk. So I since we had I must keep the appointment. But really, I should be resting, because talking and trying to keep calm in Ajunwa today took all my energy. To make the police understand they must. Is it me to tell the police not to shoot? Why should I tell the police? The police should have authority there on ground to say, do not. What I was doing that is what the government should be doing. It's not my duty to teach the police what to do. It's not my job. I'm not a police officer to teach them their job. So already, for me to do that, there is a big problem in the country. For me to stand and risk my own life and go and confront bullets. What if one mad policeman did not even know me? Who says all the police know me? What if one even knew me and just said, idiot, bastard Femi Kuti, and just shot my leg? What if when I was running towards them, one of the stray bullets hit me and I died? Why is it me to do that? So already that should have been in ground by the government to ensure that, look, don't let this thing escalate. No shooting. Don't aggravate this situation on ground already. The presidency, the Senate, the government is not, the governors, the local chairmen, nobody is addressing this situation as they should, as government should. That is what I'm saying.
Now,
you're now making me stressed that you are making me annoyed that I was already annoyed this morning. Oh gosh.
Sir, but now you are talking about Nigeria passionately as usual. But the thing is, I stumbled on a clip online over the weekend where people of your generation were actually saying they were pro-SARS. They were saying they want SARS, that the government should not scrap SARS. I'm not sure.
Hey. Please. Why don't you say people of my generation?
Okay.
I don't know my generation. So don't put all of it. You don't generalize. There are a lot of people in my generation too that don't like that have been harassed by SARS. So just say some people.
Some people, yes.
Yes.
Some people, yes. But they're older. Some older people were clamoring that they want SARS. They want SARS. I mean, like you said, for 4 decades have fought against police brutality, and these are people that are now saying they still want the system to work. When you see things like this and you see people talk like this, how does it make you feel, knowing fully well that you've been fighting against this injustice for about 4 decades?
You see, let me explain to you. When a patient is sick, I don't want to be like the typical Nigerian, I hate to use this word, forgive me, how we treat ourselves. Any sickness, malaria ni, typhoid ni, headache, malaria no shey. You have to make an examination to find out what is wrong with this patient. Nigeria is sick. And you see, if I'm a doctor, when I hear people talking like that, they are part of the sickness that is wrong with Nigeria. We have ethnic problems that causes sickness. We are still suffering from colonial mentality. We are still suffering from corruption. We are still suffering from religious problems. So you see, when Europeans left this continent, left this country, let's not go too big, this country, they knew the vast amount of problems they left in place. They knew. So all they had to do was just sit back. We will fight amongst ourselves. They knew that we would be like this. And you see, they pump and fuel our agitation because we are not talking, we are still not talking with one voice. They know that it probably take another 50, 70 years for us to talk with one voice, for us to understand that they, Oyinbo people, are the problems. They put us in this first problem. But you see, it is those same kind of people that will say, you sold yourselves. It is you that caused the problem. It's those same people. And you see, the answer for those kind of people again is, you see, those Africans that sold Africans as slaves, we can still trace their generation. We know them because they put those puppets in place to take over government. We can trace our history, so we can know those families that participated in the slave trade. History is still very clear on families that participated. So when we want to identify those families, we can say, so family, your family sold Africans as slaves. So we can point them out. But when you want to generalize and say we sold ourselves and put Anikulapo Kuti as part of the slave traders, we cannot accept it. Our own family fought against slavery. We fought against oppression. We fight against injustice. We still do. That even my own son, his own sons now are political. So you see, those people are part of the sickness worrying Nigeria. So you see those kind of people. I don't even have I just pray for them that God will give them sense, because sometimes some people, they die senseless. So I will pray that they don't die senseless. How can you be in Nigeria and not understand and know that this police brutality is a problem today? There is any Nigerian that doesn't know that is living in probably being guarded by that police, living part of the corruption of this country, instigating police brutality themselves, encouraging it, lifting our oil. You see, some families, let's go into oil. How do some people get rich in this country? Because they gave them oil block. The government never thought that this oil block is not for personal people. This oil block should be for the people of Nigeria. That means the house help must profit from the oil. That means where this oil is coming from, that region must be the richest place. Those people in that place, they should be that place must be like paradise, because that is where that money is coming from. That is how ideological government should think. And then when that money is spilling over, that means adequate healthcare will have been given, that we should be having free healthcare, that our police, our petrol should be the cheapest in the world. We should be enjoying, there should be so much enjoyment in this country. But what did they do? They became selfish and greedy. Those same people that you are saying talk like this, that are part of the problem of this country, have taken oil block. Oh yes, but the police is feeling, the police is here, they're doing a good job. What good job? The way they are dressed is a good job. How can some of those police officers look at themselves and they are dressed the way shabbily? Is that a police force? Let me lastly give you a police station. I went to have a complaint in Germany, in Berlin, to go and report a complaint. When I entered that police station, me that I entered, I thought I was the accused. When I saw the way they were dressed, all of them were on computer. I mean, they were all, the police station was all lit up, lights, everything, up and downstairs. I said, Now, police station be this. When I came back, I went to Area F. We have a long way to go. You see, there's no Nigerian that has seen outside and come back. And you probably lose hope. Sometimes when I keep asking myself what I'm doing here. You see, when you take somebody from Abeokuta and show him international airport, they will say Femi is mad. That's airport, he's fine. He's not exposed. You haven't seen Charles de Gaulle. You haven't seen New York International Airport. You haven't seen JF Kennedy. You haven't seen Los Angeles. You haven't seen Frankfurt. The first time I saw those airports, my mouth just dropped. Then I knew that Muritala is a booker. Look, that place cannot pass as anything. It's an embarrassment. We don't even have Nigeria Airways. You will see Air France, hundreds of planes. You don't see planes. When I was watching planes take off in Los Angeles. They were landing every second, taking off every second. And I just looked. There was go-slow in the air. Then I will think about my home. I went to Benin International Airport and they were saying, the governor tried. I said, Umashi, sorry for us. This guy just built bungalow. I call it International Airport, a bungalow. An airport, Ajuwon, from Ajuwon, where I am, to Ikeja bus stop, it's all an airport territory. Planes that you cannot walk from one terminal to the next terminal. You will stop and take a break, or you go by train. You see how that is progressive, how they take our resources and make themselves progressive. And then they put puppets in place here, and people that you are talking about, they all go. They have their families in Europe, having the best education, the best healthcare, and they will say it's all good. And if COVID did not happen, that they were all forced to die in the healthcare services here, they will not even know. And because they have opened the airport, they still now don't care that healthcare service is bad. How many times must our doctors go on strike to say they don't have the right facilities to operate? How many times they do this every year? How many times must our educationists go on strike? Unilag was one of the best universities in the world. Now, I think it's number 300 or something, if I'm correct. That if you come out of Nigeria University, nobody wants you. That certificate is like toilet paper. Nobody cares about that certificate. It's not that we are not intelligent. When a Nigerian leaves this country, he or she excels. Even let's go to the profession that is not considered as serious as anything. Sports. Even in sports, Nigerians excel. We are heavyweight boxing champion. We are UFA, whatever that thing champion. We are holding the belts in so many places. Even in sports, Nigerians excel. When we are here, there's just one bad aura that these people carry on their heads. They just oppress everybody with the police force and just keep everybody down. And it's that mentality of those people that will tell you, SARS is good. SARS is good. You go out. Look, it used to be at night that you are afraid of the police. I grew up in this country. At night, when the police stop you on the road, you used to be afraid. Now it's not, there's no time limit. It can be in the day. They will just come with a bus. They don't even wear clothes. You will just see them stop, harass somebody on the road, bundle that person and take that person away. What did the person do? They say the person did not open their phone. They give you one excuse. The next thing, probably the person has been killed in the police station. Look, how many stories? Those people that you are telling me about, they don't hear these stories. They don't see those stories. They don't do internet. They don't see the internet. Oh, they are still living in cave times. Even me, that you can say I'm not an internet freak like the youths. The youths, I don't even know how they do all this. Sometimes I just, because I like to practice 6 hours a day. I don't have time to always be on the internet. I don't have that time. So how they do it, I don't even know. But even me, that I will consider myself, I'm an illiterate when it comes to that. I know what is going on. How can they tell me they don't know what is going on? Please leave those. They too are sick. They are part of the problem. You see, now we are going to know those that are part of the solution or part of the problem of this country. So we know ourselves. No, excuse me, I'm speaking. There's no electricity right now as I'm speaking to you. Oh, it's okay. Will you tell me now that there's no electricity? It's okay. Why don't they tell me that too? that there's no electricity. Why don't you say it's good? Or the roads are bad? Hey, it's good. Nigeria.
Sir, finally, sir, now, like you said,
You see, I'm already so annoyed. You know, you have caught me at the start time, yes.
I understand. Looking at the way the youths have come out in unison, they've in unison, not just in Nigeria, globally. What does that tell you about the future of Nigeria?
It tells not the future it tells me that the people of this world are tired. They are tired of oppression. Black Lives Matter. Everybody's just fed up of this capitalistic, pretentious democratic governments that lie, and they're all really oppressive and they're all corrupt globally. And people are just fed up. And that's come to our backyard and is right now at our doorsteps. It's of no so like we said, my father sang this all his life. And what happened? Everybody gave the excuses. He smokes, he likes women. But you see, those same people who smoke, those same people who like women, don't let's even go too far. When my father's music, they stop playing his music. Bob Marley doesn't smoke. He doesn't like women. Bob Marley smokes and he likes women. But they pump Bob Marley in our ears so much, and they told us Bob Marley was good. You see, because Bob Marley was far and his music did not make, it wasn't relevant like Fela's music was to our ears. James Brown, too, was on drugs and like women, but they hailed James Brown. And they even told us many times James Brown was better than Fela in Fela's time. Fela had to fight to keep his name and his message alive all his life, because they brought one person or the other from Europe, America, to say they were better than Fela, and they used that person to oppress Fela here. Not to even talk of the Nigerian musicians they use again to oppress Fela here. So Fela had many battles whilst he was fighting government. He had his professional battles he was fighting as well. So the question is, why was Fela's music problematic? Because Fela was Nigerian. And if people listened to him, it made more sense. So, ban Fela. Listen to James Brown, who was on drugs, who was as bad as, worse than Fela even, or Bob Marley, because they were far away. Even where Bob Marley was revolutionary, he was still far away. Fela was home. Not, I cannot even say was close to home. Fela was home, telling us right to our face, pointing his finger, you are corrupt, you are a thief, change your ways in this country. And that was the problem Fela had. But you see, that generation gave all the reasons to not support Fela. Despite that, they personally were as bad as Fela in their private lives. They were as bad, if not worse than Fela. Was it only Fela smoking Igbo? Today too now, most of our artists are all smoking Igbo. But they are not shouting, you see them shouting about their favorite artist. But that artist is smoking Igbo. But when probably, it's Fela, they use Fela as the example. Fela was ideological. Fela was revolutionary. And it wasn't the Igbo that was the problem with Fela. It was the message that was Fela's problem. And when Fela said to confront the authorities, it was, how dare you? And that's why they descended on him and they said to beat him and they said to arrest him. And that was Fela's story. Summarization of Fela's story. So,
all right, sir. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Femi Anikulapo Kuti. We really appreciate your time and for coming on to our platform and to also voice out on the police brutality that is going on. Thank you so much. And to our audience and our viewers watching this, we are so grateful for your time, for joining us and for listening and tuning in.
Sorry, Demola, before you go off.
Yes, please.
Nobody is saying we don't want. Sars was to tackle armed robbery. Abi?
Yes.
What has armed robbery got to do with somebody's personal phone or somebody's hairdo?
Mm-hmm.
Those boys that they shoot and arrest on the streets, which one of them have they shown us armed robbers? Remember when COVID started?
Yes.
It was the people that said to, even in my area, it was us protecting the streets. When those, what they call the million boys, started to do their jagaja. How many police came to protect us in It was people turned vigilante themselves on the streets. We are not saying we don't want a police force. We want an African police force. We want an African police force. We are an individual. If that police is misbehaving, then my father came up with an idea. He said everybody should be police. Some can wear uniform, but everybody should be police. So when police misbehave, we can arrest the police. The citizens who can arrest. Who is that police? What makes that police more special than anybody? You see, this should be the mindset of the African today. Why? Because you have a uniform, must you think you have more authority than me in my country? So there has to be laws. That is why there has to be laws and immediate laws that govern us, and it must be, the justice must be quick and dynamic. That when somebody is arrested, you don't go and leave that person waiting trial for. If you go to prison, even this, again in my father's time, do you know how many people are waiting trial? Some people have been there for 5, 10 years, waiting trial. They just keep on going, adjourning their cases. And at the end of the day, many of them are not guilty. And even if they are guilty, by the time they have used, so all these years are waiting trial and they find them guilty, I mean, the justice, there's no justice. All these things, you see, so every government that comes into place, everybody's waiting for this kind of dynamic change. And now the youth of today are just fed up because they all know that even if they all go to university, by the time they all come out, there will still be no jobs. Police will still, if they survive, police might still kill them. Police will still stop them because they carry that bag on their, everybody's a Yahoo person. If all those boys on the street are Yahoo, let us even assume everybody on the streets today are Yahoo. Doesn't it tell the government that the government is in big problem?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
If all those boys, if all those people, all those citizens on the streets are Yahoo, and as according to one of the government officials saying that Yahoo people are instigating this thing, if all of them are Yahoo, everybody in this country we are in deep trouble already. If it's true, if that is what their mentality is telling them, or if they want to even look at it that way, don't they see that there's a big problem again? If they don't want to believe that there's a problem with Sars, and all those people are just saying there's a problem because they want to get away with doing Yahoo, don't they see there's a problem there as well? Whichever way they want to look at it, the government is guilty. You didn't provide job, you didn't provide good education, and then you put a brutal police force out there. The government is guilty. Thank you, Demola.
You're welcome. Thank you.
They are telling you time is up.
No. Actually, I'm enjoying the chat, sir. Thank you, sir. And also thank you to our viewers. I'm Ademola Olaniloa. Stay blessed and stay safe.
Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.